Yes, good evening, members. Thank you very much. I would like to welcome you for this history lesson, senior 4 class. Today I will be taking you, or we are going to revise one of the topics that we learned already about it in senior 2, and that is German unification. Yes, as we learn in senior 2 that the German unification, it is one of the topics that we learn in South Sudan here. It is under European history. It is under European history. So German unification already in senior 2, when we talk about unification in Europe, we normally talk about unification of the 2 European nations or European states. The first one, it is Italian unification, and in the senior 2 also we talk about Italian unification, how Italy got united, or how this republic that we call Italy came into existence. So today I will be taking you brief. As I said, it is going to be a discussion because all of us we have learned about unification of Germany in senior 2. So today in this session here, we are not going to waste too much time. We are not going to waste too much time. So let us go straight to the question. Let us go straight to the sample question that they normally set pertaining this topic here called German unification. So at the end of the lesson, I will be leaving you with these guiding questions. So you as a student, you will go through and you try them, you answer on your own, and you bring them, maybe you bring physically to school, or you can even submit. I will give you the question also at the end. But most question or the most question that they will normally ask about this German unification include the following. Sometimes they ask you what are the obstacles or the factors that hindered German unification before 1856. And sometimes also they may ask you about the causes of the German unification or the role of Bismarck. Which particular roles, how did Bismarck as individual or as the leader of Prussia contributed toward the German unification? So at the end of this session here, you will be able to answer that question. And then also you will be able to answer this question, the second last question. What are the challenges followed the German unification or the challenges of German unification? So we talk about the challenges of German unification. Here we shall learn some of the problem or the challenges that the Germans continue to face after being what? After being united. Then also they may ask you about how did the unification of Germany affected the what? The Europeans affair. Those are some of the key questions that as we are going to go through these topics, you should get versed with. So let us go straight and introduce our topics for discussion today. As I said earlier on, we will be talking about the German unification. So when we talk about the German unification, what does it mean? The word, simply from the word unification, simply means like bringing something together, right? Like the word unification, it is from unifying something. So when we are going to look into this topic here, means we are going to talk about how the German state got united. So let us look back. Before this German unification or the unification of Germany, by 1871, before 1871, this republic that we call Germany or the Republic of Germany was not existing. But if you look at the German state that has been amalgamated or that has been brought together to form this one giant republic that is known as German Republic, they are comprised of up to 300 independent states. So we are going also to look at how these states were brought together to form this German state. So what you have to know, it is this Republic of Germany before it was united or before it was amalgamated. It was comprised of independent states up to 300. So out of these 300, we were having the states that are found in the Eastern Germany, the Central Germany, and the Southern Germany. But in the year 1871, it is after Franco-Prussian War that all these 300 states were brought together to form one republic that is known as Germany. So it was amalgamated or united, all the German states, all these 300 states got united under the leadership of what? Of Kaiser Williams and Otto von Bismarck. We talk about Otto von Bismarck in Senior 3 and in Senior 1. Yes, we talk about Otto von Bismarck in Senior 3, in Senior 1. We said he was the German what? Chancellor. So we are going to also to look at how he contributed toward the German unification, like I said earlier on. So in summary, when we talk about the German unification, we are referring to the process through which the 300 independent states were brought together or amalgamated to form one Republic of Germany. Are we together? Yes. So we have seen this process of German unification started way back a long time ago, before what? 1871. It started way back in what? In 1789. We learned that before these German states got united, they were under Holy Roman Empire. So that empire was the one controlling these 300 states. But very soon also we have seen that the 300 states were brought together and they formed this what? The German Republic. Okay. So what I was saying, that before 1856, the process of German unification faced a lot of challenges. They really face a lot of challenges because of some of the factors. So this one will take us to the next slide, where we are going to talk about the major obstacle toward the German unification. So when we talk about the major obstacle here, what does it imply? Are we together? Let me hope we are moving together. So here we are going to discuss some of the problems that hindered these German states to be united before what? 1856. Like I said earlier on, from the start of this process of German unification, when the Germans now started thinking that we have to come together and form one republic, they faced a lot of problems from 1789 up to 1756. From 1789 up to 1856, the process of German unification faced a lot of challenges. They really encountered a lot of challenges. So let us go and look at these challenges. One by one. Yes, the first point here, we talk about the religious division or the religious what? Differences between the what? Between the Germans. Like I said earlier on, these German states that got united, they were indeed very, 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 very many. So we said one of the factors that hindered or the challenge or the major obstacle that faced this process of German unification, it is what? The religious differences. We have seen the northern part of the German states, which was comprised of some states like Prussia, comprised of like Frankfurt and so on. Those states were purely Catholics. The northern states were purely what? Protestant, while the southern states were purely Catholics. So the divisions between these two made it very hard for them to unite, simply because, like the Catholics, they have their religious doctrines, they have their religious ideology, of which they don't want their doctrines to be mixed with this one or Protestant. They don't want to accept or to work together with the what? With the ideology of the what? Of the Protestant. So the differences between this German state, the southern state, That's where the Catholics, and the northern state, that's where the what? The Protestant. Made it very hard for this what? German state to come together before the year 1856. And then the next point we talk about the political disunities among the liberals, the conservatives, and the nationalists. So we have now here three types of political units. We have the liberals, those one who want change, those one who want a democratic system of leadership. We have the conservative, the conservative kings. Those are the people who never wanted like these ideas of what? Of unification, because they don't want to lose their power. They want to remain in power and in control. Because according to them, if Germany state got united, who will rule? It is better for them to remain in their what? In their states and continue what? Ruling. So those one we call them as the conservative kings. They were against this what? Process of German unification. And then we have the nationalists, those one who were having love that indeed we have to bring German state together so that the German also emerge as what? Powerful states. So these differences between these three groups of political units, it made it very hard for the German state to be united before the year 1856. And then also we talk about the weak central what? Parliament. The weak central parliament, it is created in a way that during the Vienna Congress, we talk about the Vienna Congress in Senior 2. Even some time back also in Senior 4 here, we discussed about what? The Vienna Congress. So the Vienna Congress, Metternich. Remember the Metternich was the leader of what? Of Austria. So Austria, when Metternich emerged to power, he put too much control on this German state to the extent that even the central parliament could not. For example, we talk about the Metternich system where he put censorship of what? Or press, he controlled every movement of information. The information could not just flow among these German states. So that one alone made it very hard for German states to be united before what? 1856. And then also we talk about the lack of foreign support and foreign oppositions from what? Austria and France. So here you can split it into two. You can also talk about the lack of foreign support as individual point, or you can talk about the foreign opposition from Austria and France as independent point. Let us start with the lack of what? Foreign support. We have seen since the time when Prussia started heading this process of the German unification, the Germans were fighting alone. British could not come and help them. Russia could not come and help them. Any other European states could not come and help them. Why? Because at that time, during this process of German unification, most of the European countries were facing what? A lot of challenges. For example, British was concerned with her fare. Russia was concerned with her fare because she was also trying to settle some of the socio-economic problem that was there in her country. So at that point, they were not in a position to come and help what? Prussia to get this German state united. Then also we talk about the foreign opposition from Austria and France. We have seen Austria was given a mandate by Congress system to oversee these 300 German states. So Austria, as the leader or one of the states that was in charge of this fragmented German state, she never wanted to what? Germany to be united, because one Germany united, which means her power and influence over this German state will be reduced. That's why we have seen even Bismarck himself spearheaded Prussia to go and fight with Austria in what became known as Austro-Prussian War, and in which Austria were defeated. Then France never wanted to lose her two mineral states of Alsace and Lorraine, and for that reason, she never wanted what? German state to be united. So let us go to the slide 4. We are still continuing with some of the obstacles that's in the German unification. Then we said the next point here, we talk about lack of leadership. before Bismarck, we have seen there was no any prominent leader that emerged in what? In any of these German states to spearhead the process of what? The process of the German unification. That's why we have seen immediately when Bismarck took over, many other states rallied behind him. So here we are saying lack of strong leadership counted for the delay of German unification. And then we talk about the next point, talk about economic backwardness. Yes. This is one of the factors that delayed German unification. Of course, if you look at the economy of German states by then, most of them, they were not what? Industrialized. Yeah? Their economy was based on agriculture, and in particular, this subsistence what? Agriculture, where you produce goods or the farm produce for home consumption only, then you take the surplus to the what? To the market. So that kind of economy was not putting these German states in a status of what? Of being united, because financially they were all weak. So it was very hard for them to come united. So here we are saying the economic backwardness of this German state also accounted for delay process of German unification. Then we say no common defense system, where they were left alone and do their things alone. Then we saw also the suppressed by the nationalism, the suppression of nationalism by Austria. Okay? Yes. The nationalists were really fighting very hard. They are doing their best so that they sensitize people, they mobilize people through campaigns, they sensitize people on the benefit of being what? United. But Austria, that was given the supreme authority to oversee this German state by the Congress system, was not in the support of that. They were always suppressing or attacking this what? Attacking the nationalists. So that one also accounted for delay unification. And then we talk about the last point here. We talk about the fear of domination by Prussia and Austria. Yes, the last point talk about the fear of domination by the Prussia or Austria. If you look at this German state, the most powerful state by then was Austria. Remember, Austria was also a part of this German state, the 300 state. That's where amalgamated. So Austria was considered to be one of the most powerful states among these 300, followed by what? By Prussia. So other states were scared that if they get united, still Austria or Prussia will dominate everything. So that fear also made the process of German unification to delay from 1789 to 1786. So those are some of the obstacles that the German nationalists or the German face in their quest for what? For being united. So this one will take us to the next slide. The next slide, where we are going to look at some of the factors. Are we together? Where we are going to look at some of the factors that led to the unification of Germany. Remember, previously we talked about the obstacle toward German unification, and we said from the year 1789 up to 1856, the process of German unification faced a lot of challenges. And because of that challenges, the process of the German unification prolonged. But here, now we are clicking to 1860s. When we talk about the factors that favored the German unification, we are going straight to the what? To the 1860s. What happened in 1860s? In 1860s, we have seen a lot of things. A lot of things has happened in Europe, and those factors made German states, all these fragmented German states, to finally what? get united in what? In 1871. But those incidents started from what? Started by 1860s. So when we talk about the factors that favored the German unification, we are going to talk about those changes or the reforms that those people carry out from 1860s up to 1871. So let us go and look at those points one by one. The first point, we talk about the declines of the Austrian after the 1848 revolution. So when you talk about the 1848 revolution, this is the well, let me say like there's a lot of revolutions that occurred in Europe by this way. The revolution occurred in Austria, the revolution occurred in France, the revolution occurred in Belgium, in many places. Okay? So after that revolution, and also don't forget, it was this revolution that staged against Metternich, who was the leader of Austria. So that revolution eventually led to the declines of the Austrian influence over the what? Over the fragmented German states. And because of that, their domination ended, and we have seen by 1848, finally, after the end of the Austrian domination, go ahead. The nationalists who were suppressed earlier on, they became free, they started mobilizing people, they started campaigning and everything. So one of the factors that led to the German or favored the German unification was the declines of Austrian after 1848 revolution. Let us go to the second point. Our second point here talk about strong Prussian economy and Zollverein. We talk about Zollverein movement in senior 2. Yes, we described that one very well. And in senior 3 also, we talk about Zollverein somewhere when we are revising about this. So the Prussian economy, by 1856, Prussia has adopted what we call industrialization, or the industrial revolution that started in the what? In the Europe by 1856, it has reached what? Prussia. So she turned her economy from being agriculturally based economy to industrialized what? Economy. And because of that reform, Prussia realized or gained a lot of what? A lot of money, and that money help her or aid her to facilitate or to finance the process of what? German unification. So here we are concluding that the strong Prussian economy after the 1860s made it possible for German states to get what? United. Then we talk about the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution that started way back in England. By 1856, I said it has reached what? Prussia. So because of this Industrial Revolution, it made infrastructures. Infrastructure, when you talk about the infrastructural development, there we are talking about the road, the railway, and so on. Because of this industrial revolution, the roads were laid, the roads were constructed, railway lines were put in place. So that one facilitates the movement, not only for the nationalists, but the movement of other soldiers even to march, maybe from Prussia to other state to go and fight for the what? For the German unification. And then we talk about the growing German nationalism as the next point. So when you talk about nationalism, here we are talking about the love for one country, to be nationalistic, that is being creating what? Love for your own country. So the growing nationalism or spirit of nationalist feeling among the Germans made it also what? Very possible for them to be united after the what? After 1860s. Then other factors now, we are still continuing with the factors that favor the German unification. We talk about the military reforms, especially in what? In Prussia. So the military reforms, like I said earlier on, this idea of the German unification was purely based on what? On the Prussian what? Military strength, because he was the one who fought with other European states that were dominating this state. For example, we have seen the Prussian, they fought with what? with Denmark, and they defeated Denmark, and again they fought with Austria, and they defeated Austria, and finally they defeated what? France in what became known as what? Franco-Prussian War. So the military reforms in Prussia alone greatly contributed toward the what? The German unification. Then we talk about the role of Bismarck. He played diplomacy. He met an ally with other people so that they get united. For the sake of time, I think we are going to stop here. So in the next lesson, we are going to talk about other factors. We talk about the weakness or the rival of Denmark, Austria, the collapse of the Congress system, the influence of the scholar. And then the challenges. Here now we talk about the challenges that the German states, besides being united, but they still continue to face. So when we talk about the challenges after German unification, here we are referring that the problem that the Germans, after being united, they started facing in the United Germany, where you talk about the regional division, the Prussian domination, the religious and political conflict, the French hostility, the Eastern-West splits during the Cold War, and so on. Then also we talk about, you help me, you go and revise about the effects of the German unification. I'm going to get the notification, like in case you have any inquiry, you post. Because of the time factors, we could not now finish it all, but this point are made very clear. You can read and understand, but I am available always in case you are facing any challenge, maybe in any point we can still explain. But don't forget, we have also the guiding question or the discussion question. Maybe you get your friends in the group of two, you sit and you answer it as a group, or you can also do it as individual. The questions are here. The first one, what's the obstacle toward the German unification? Then the second one talk about the causes of German unification. The third one talk about the role of Bismarck. Then also we talk about the challenge followed the German unification. And then how did the German unification affected Europe? So those are the questions that you can try out, and you can reach me at any time, either in school or you can drop them online. So for any inquiry, I'm available. Thank you for attending the lesson. I believe the lesson was good, although the time was not all that good. I just prepared something small just for only 30 minutes. But in the next sessions, we are going to move on very well. I'm going to have with you maybe time for 1 hour or 1 hour and 30 minutes. Then we are going to discuss a lot. So for now, let us stop here. Let us